So we arrived at the Erie Macedon landing where Erie Canal Adventures is located in. Basically, when you arrive, it just looks like a typical marina where all the boats are docked. Once you got there, just basically go inside, do the check-in process. You'll notice when you come in, they'll have all your paperwork ready to go. And then they'll lead you to a room where you'll do an orientation. And they just have a video basically giving you all the rundown of how the boats work. Then they just lead you down to the boating area where you can load all your personal items and meet your guide, who will then take you through kind of the boat and what to expect. Once you get on your boat, you can do a quick tour. In our boat here, you can get a chance to see what's inside. And basically, we had the Lockmaster 42, which was the 2 bedrooms and then 2 bathrooms, and then it also had a dinette that folded into a bed as well. The interior height has to be a little under 6, maybe 6'5" feet. I'm 6'3", and I was able to walk through without hitting my head or anything like that. So it's a little tight, but it's still manageable if you're under 6'4", 6'5". The bathrooms are pretty spacious as well, and then this is the kitchen area, stove, and then the oven, and then down below there's a fridge and an area for trash as well. The dinette area you see is pretty roomy. You can seat 4 people, 4 adults, and then down below you can see the fridge area. Just if you're used to using an RV, or maybe not, but it's just standard small refrigerator, and then the trash area. Outside in the front, you'll notice there's a seating area that you can sit down, and when you're riding, you can have your breakfast there if you're stopped. And it's pretty spacious as well, enough for, I would say, maybe 4 adults to relax comfortably. So once you're settled in and everything, your guide will then introduce you to the boat, make sure you're familiar with everything on board. It has a diesel engine, and it doesn't really even reach, I think, past maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour. I'm not sure exactly, but it didn't go that fast. There's 2 thrusters that are in the front, and they're managed by a button on top, and those will keep you from drifting left or right if you need them. The rudder itself is pretty stiff, I noticed, so you got to have a little bit of strength to push it, but it's not too hard. This is us coming into the dock, and the guide just basically showed us everything we needed to do to get situated. And basically the idea is just to get in and get close to the wall, and then grab those 2 ropes so that you're not moving around a lot once inside, especially if there's a lot of traffic inside. But once the lock is opened up, then you're free to go, and you take your guide back, drop him off, and then you're off cruising. And what I noticed is it's just a really relaxing cruise. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of traffic, water traffic. You see some people biking on the trails on the side. But for the most part, you're just relaxing and just enjoying the ride. Depending on the speed you take the engine to, being either that it max out, I think it's 23 RPMs, then the engine becomes louder. So if you take it down to a nice mellow cruising speed, it's pretty relaxing. We decided to go west versus the east because there was more to do. Fairport was our first docking area, and we had to pay $17 to stay there overnight, and that gives you electricity and water hookup. There was a few restaurants in the area and a nice steakhouse that we ate at for dinner. One thing I will say though is that if you want to bring food, it's good to at least bring breakfast food, because in the morning, these are small little towns and a lot of them don't have breakfast places that are open. Nighttime was pretty mellow, so sleeping wasn't a problem on board. There wasn't a lot of noise or traffic or anybody moving around outside. Once our day got started in the morning, just unhooked the electricity and started the engine, and we were off. It's pretty uneventful. So continuing on westward towards Rochester, we came across our first lock of the day, and there was no traffic outside at all on the water, so we had the lock completely to ourselves. So once we radioed ahead, the lock attendant opened the gates, and we just proceeded to go right on in. It's good to have one person in the front, and then of course the driver. Try to line up as much as you can to the actual support ropes, and then once you get close to the wall, shut off the engine, and then keep yourself as close to the wall as possible, and just kind of wait it out. One thing I noticed was the boat did move a little bit once the water started to fill the lock, but nothing too aggressive, nothing too crazy, and we were able to keep everything stable just by holding on to the rope. And that was it. We just pretty uneventful and just hung out until the water rose up. So once the lock started to fill up and we got the green light and the gates were open, we were on our way. One thing I could say is the attendants there are super, super nice, and they were always willing to chit chat and give a little advice about the area. Decided to go ahead and go up the Genesee River and visit the Rochester area and stay there overnight. So Rochester was a cool town. We just went to a few restaurants in the area and did a little paddle boarding that we brought with us. There wasn't any rentals or anything like that along the waterway that we found. And then there was also no charge, so we had a free night stay there on the dock. There was a little market that we found behind the dock that allowed us to restock supplies, and other than that, we had a good time there. So that concluded our trip. We just did the 3-day trip, and we headed back to Macedon, and would definitely recommend this to anybody who wants to try something different. It was a great experience, and I definitely recommend Erie Canal Adventures. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.